Refunds could be on the cards for consumers of 112 municipalities who bought electricity and paid higher tariffs since July after the National Energy Regulator of South Africa failed to appeal a court ruling on the tariff increases. Afriforum took Nersa to court over the latter's failure to submit the cost of supply studies before approving electricity tariffs. 66 municipalities submitted the cost of supply studies required by law, meaning the rest have been illegally charging higher tariffs. Nersa told business reporter Ntokozo Khumalo that the regulator is now considering its next move after another defeat at the High Court.
Cash-strapped consumers in 112 municipalities found themselves paying more for electricity in July. This after Nersa granted 178 licensed electricity distributors in municipalities a 12.7% tariff increase. Civil rights group Afriforum took the issue to court, and the High Court found that only 66 municipalities could legally raise electricity prices. Now the regulator is considering its next move, including approaching the Supreme Court of Appeal, while Afriforum is calling for consumers to be refunded. The dispute comes as Eskom has applied for another hefty electricity tariff increase of 36%, with Nersa to kick in next year.
Since the High Court has decided in a particular way, whether should the municipalities wait until the appeal is heard and only then to continue charging the new tariffs, or do they hold these new tariffs back, and then later on, once the decision is been made and it's in their favor, that they can then implement the decision. So it's going to be about risk mitigation.
At the center of the dispute is the failure of some municipalities and Nersa to conduct the cost of supply studies, which is a business plan that outlines the cost of delivering electricity services. Gumede says municipalities that did not submit these studies were still required to give a breakdown of their electricity distribution-related costs.
Whether it's required by law or not, municipalities should have been doing this. It's not something that should come because the Electricity Regulation Act demands it.
Nersa warns that municipalities will struggle to fund the cost of such studies as they are owed 18.6 billion rand in rates and taxes.
It is going to be a lengthy process, but it's got to start somewhere. So it starts with a proper definition of the how we're going to do something, which the cost of supply methodology, a cost of supply framework, was a good start to it. But the majority of the municipalities just don't have the capacity to even just do the ring fencing part.
The head of electricity and energy at the South African Local Government Association agrees.
What the court order is asking us to do is not something you can do overnight. They're asking us to submit our tariffs with the cost of supply studies, and cost of supply studies is something that takes between 6 to 18 months to do, and it's quite an expensive exercise. It's about 1.5 to 2.5 million, and we know the financial situation of municipalities.
Afriforum accuses Nersa of allowing municipalities to rip off consumers with hefty tariff increases not based on actual data.
It would be based on a percentile increase that maybe they receive from, as regard to the Eskom tariff increase, or they would just have this percentile increases that increase the tariffs fourfold in 10 years' time.
He says municipalities should be encouraged to want to be efficient and get their houses in order before the next financial year.
It must be audited. It must be sure, the community must go and ensure that the financials that are used in this cost of supply study is the correct one. So there's still work to be done in future, but at least then you have some sense on what exactly you are paying for when you are paying for electricity tariff, which currently and almost for the past 10 years was not the fact with most municipalities in South Africa.
Meanwhile, the Mineral Resources and Energy Department wants to review the electricity pricing policy that governs how Nersa determines tariffs. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ntokozo Khumalo in Johannesburg.